Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Victory Lap. I am James Boss. Joined alongside me, as always, is Shane Tinney, making life very difficult every single morning. Thank you all for joining us here on the Utica TV YouTube channel. Shane, how are we doing this morning?
I'm feeling all right this morning. A little sore from yesterday. You know, we had a track meet last night.
That we did.
And it was not the most ideal weather.
No, not the most fun ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll be at Cortland on Saturday, and it'll be nice and sunny.
You'll be at Cortland on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into the actual show. No one cares about track and field. Jalen Hurts just got paid a lot of money. Believe 5 years, $250 million, with I think 190 guaranteed. How much money would you have paid Jalen Hurts?
So yeah, it was 5 years, 255 and 179 guaranteed. This now makes him the highest paid annual salary in the history of the league. And if I'm being honest, I don't really see much of an issue with this deal. I think 5 years around 250 mil is probably in the ballpark of what I would have pictured him getting. And this guy he's going to win a Super Bowl. I would say. I'll go out on a limb. And within the next 5 years, I could see them winning a Super Bowl. And yeah, no, he's perfect for the modern NFL offense. He's the perfect dual threat quarterback. So, you know, and salaries are just going to keep going up and up. So the fact that they inked this deal now, before Lamar even got a deal, which is still like mind-boggling, but no, I don't see really a problem with this deal.
I like the 5 year range for the deal. I think it's a good spot for him, but I wouldn't have given him over 50. I think he gets 51 a year. I wouldn't have gone that high. I think 45 is closer to what he should be getting. I think that his play style, I don't think is going to age particularly well. And while he's only 24 right now, I think by the last year, 2 years of that deal, it's going to be tough for the Eagles. I would have gone closer to the 5 for 225, given $45 million a year, because obviously he's a really good quarterback. And like you said, he fits the modern day quarterback very well with his dual threat ability. But I think giving him $51 million a year is a lot of money, and I don't think he's going to be worth it by the end of this contract.
Yeah, and you know, I also think you got guys that are going to need deals coming up. You got Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Lamar. And absolutely, those deals would drive this one up even higher.
Oh, yeah.
So, and now they're probably saying the same thing, the Bengals, the Chargers, and the Ravens. Now they're going to look at this deal and say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts got this. We think we're that good. And they are. So
Burrow is going to shatter this when his contract comes.
Yeah. I think next year he'll be due for a deal, I believe.
I think he might have another year after. I want to say, because this was just his third season. So he'll have next year plus one more.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, that
unless they want to jump out ahead of the fifth-year extension.
Which honestly wouldn't be a bad idea.
No.
To keep him around. Because he's another guy that I could, you know, he's already gone to the Super Bowl.
He's going to be someone who I think will have a very long career in this league. He will be worth he might get paid like $60 million, and he probably will be worth every penny.
Yeah. I don't know. For now, this fits in the ballpark of like what guys are getting. I don't really think they overpaid him. I don't think they underpaid him. It's about right, I think. Good job, Eagles. I'm sure Caden would be happy.
He sure would be.
I'm sure he is. They got their guy.
They did get their guy.
For at least 5 years now.
Yeah.
As no trade clause, too.
Okay. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Jalen. Honestly, I am very happy for him. Like, this is a great deal for someone who is getting a lot of hate coming out of the draft. Like, was not projected to be anything that great. Like, he's had a very strange career path up until this point, being like, he was great for Alabama, got him to the national championship, then got benched for Tua, and then comes back in, wins the SEC championship game after I think Tua got hurt, and then transfers away, great in Oklahoma, drafted second round. Everyone thinks he's going to suck. Pretty good his rookie year, gets into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, he becomes this. Like, it's a really great career for this guy, and I mean, happy for him. He won this battle. I think he won it by a lot more than he should have. I'm not sure he should have got that much money, but I'm never going to get upset when a guy gets paid.
That's true. Good for the Eagles, good for Jalen.
Yeah. Let's move off of football. Let's talk some basketball. Whole lot of playoffs going on. Starting with the Los Angeles Lakers of Los Angeles. Would a ring for LeBron James this season be his most impressive one yet?
So we all want to go back to the 2016 finals, the 3-1 comeback and everything. Phenomenal. Easily his best ring to date so far.
Yes.
But this one would pass that. If they win the title this year, this would give him 5 rings. And, I mean, let's just state the obvious. This guy, by the time the finals rolls around, he'll be 38 and a half. And he'll probably win another finals MVP if he's been playing the way he's playing. And
I don't know. He's got some competition on the team.
He does, but LeBron was going to win finals MVP no matter what. They started 2-10 on the season. To now, if they go and win the finals, everybody was writing them off in the media and everything. And another thing, they're the 7th seed.
Yeah.
So for us, just the 7th seed alone to go and win the finals, when do we see that? So I don't know. I think, and that'll give him multiple rings with multiple franchise because he's got 1 with each. Yeah. So then he'll have 2 with the Lakers, 2 with the Heat. I don't know. I think this one would pass it.
The way I see it is what made the 2016 ring so special was both bringing a championship to Cleveland for the first time ever. It was his second year back, but still kind of felt like a return for LeBron. And on top of that, everyone knows about how good the Golden State Warriors that year that he beat in the finals, but it wasn't like getting to the finals alone was going against some garbage teams either. Like, sure, the Pistons stunk, but he played a good Hawks team and dominated them. Granted, he's been doing that for as long as he was in Cleveland. He was dominating the Hawks. But he goes in and beats a 56-win Raptors team, which, if you look at that compared to all of the teams in the NBA today, would be the 3rd best record in the league if they were in today's NBA. And then he closes it out, coming back 3-0 against the greatest regular season team in the history of the NBA. I don't care if the Cavs were the 1 seed that season. That was by far the most impressive thing I have ever seen. Coming back 3-0 against a team that good, where he literally put the entire team on his back. LeBron James led the Cavaliers that season or that series in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He literally did it all. And he was doing it with essentially only Kyrie, because the rest of the team around him was not particularly good. Kevin Love was terrible that series. I mean, terrible. 36% from the field, 28% from 3. He had 1 good defensive possession, and that's the only thing he did. And granted, it was an incredible stop on Steph. I will not take anything away from that, but that is the only thing he contributed to that team the entire series. LeBron pretty much carried that team to beat the best team in the history of basketball. Granted, the Warriors assembled a better team the very next season, but in 2016, that's the best. As of that year, that was the best team we had ever seen. And he went out and beat them in the finals. Hands down the most impressive thing he will ever do, even if he wins this year.
I mean, no doubt about it. Like, that's one of the greatest finals in general we'll ever see, I think. And like I said, the lowest seed to ever win a finals was the 1994-95 Rockets as the 6th seed. So, like, I don't know, just alone, if a 7th team could go to the finals is impressive enough. And it's just the fact that this team was just written off on the first whole half of the season, really, when they had Russ and everything. They were talking about blowing this team up. Like, they were saying, okay, it's the AD experiment, like, it's not working. Everything is just, they were just seemed like it was just over for them, and they weren't even going to make the play in, even. So, and they're heating up at the right time right now.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And yeah, I don't know. And if he gets 5 rings, will the GOAT case that'll add another layer to that GOAT argument between him and Jordan, because it won't be 6, but it'll be one less, not at 5. He'll tie Kobe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this one would just do it for me.
The way I see this Lakers team is obviously, yeah, they're a 7 seed, but, and yes, I will very much go out and say I was writing the Lakers off halfway through the season. Even at the trade deadline, I was still writing them off. I was saying they should trade AD.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying all of this. With that being said, let's not act like this Lakers team is your normal 7 seed. It still has LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That is arguably the best 1-2 in the entire NBA. And they have very good depth pieces. D'Angelo Russell is a good 3. You have Austin Reeves, who is looking like the greatest player of all time. You have Rui Hachimura, who is an incredible snag near the deadline. Like, they have the depth pieces to make this roster work. And getting rid of Russ was a great thing for this team. It was a great thing for both of them, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about Russ more later, but that was a great move for both parties involved. And the Lakers they're a 7 seed only by definition. Yes, they are a 7 seed, but they are so much better than any other 7 seed you will ever find. I wouldn't necessarily... I don't like using that as an argument as to why it would be so impressive. I think, yeah, sure, they are a 7 seed, and no 7 seed has ever won a championship before, but they're not your normal 7. So I don't really think you can use that as a huge factor as to making this that much more impressive. Because also, let's just look at the West. The best team in the West won 53 games this year.
Yeah.
It's wide open. There's not really a standout great team. The Suns look like the Suns on paper should be the best team in this conference.
Yeah, they won last night.
They did win last night. They won big last night.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nuggets are good, but we've all seen the Nuggets in the playoffs. They always fall apart. And I don't really see them as a massive threat in the West. The Grizzlies might be the worst 2nd seed I've ever seen. Like, we'll talk about the Kings later. They're great. Then you have the Clippers and the Suns. I like the Suns. I don't think the Clippers are really a huge threat. You have the Warriors, who, if they get hot and learn how to win a road game, they're a problem. Mm-hmm. But it's like, the West just seems so shallow that I almost expect, maybe not expect the Lakers to make it out, but I think that they're one of the favorites to make it out of the West right now.
And they will be, especially after the first round.
Yeah.
When you have some of these teams that are eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. The West is the softest we've seen in a while. But then we go to the East. Say the Lakers are in the finals. Are they beating Milwaukee? Are they beating Boston?
They could.
The six.
Don't get me wrong. It would be very tough. Those are 2 really good teams. Even the Sixers are a really good.
Lakers Celtics finals would be great.
It would be. Now, if LeBron beats the Celtics in the finals, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows the Lakers-Celtics rivalry. If LeBron can make his own case in that rivalry, that would be massive for him.
Mm-hmm. He would up his whole Lakers legacy with that one.
Because right now, LeBron's not. LeBron will retire, and everyone will just kind of forget he was a Laker. It doesn't feel like this is a big part of his legacy at all. But if he can go out and beat the Celtics in the finals, he will be one of the Laker greats.
Yeah, and then that'd give him 2 rings with the franchise, too.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 is good, but...
1 is good, but right now... I mean, one is good, but let's still... The bubble ring still feels weird. As much as I don't like using that as an argument, the bubble ring feels weird. It doesn't feel like a normal ring.
I think it was just that, they dominated the Heat.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it was 4-2 they won.
Yeah.
But I was never watching that series and thinking, oh, man, the Heat might come back. Never. Like, I think they went up 2-0, and then the Heat won a game, and then the Lakers were up 3-1. And then I remember Danny Green, when he missed that three, that could have, I think, won it in 5 games, in game 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this will be, I hate saying this excuse too, but his first real ring with a crowd and real, like, atmosphere.
And, like, in a normal close to the regular season, too. And not a 2-month break before the playoffs.
Yeah.
This would be an impressive win. And, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it wouldn't be an impressive win for LeBron, because it still would be. Still would be massive for him because he's 38 years old. Like, the fact that he is still as good as he is at 38 is huge. But he also, for the first time since the Miami Heat days, has a complete roster around him. Like, this Lakers team, from top to bottom, looks good. And they look like they all know how to play. And it's something he hasn't really had in a long time. And it'll only help him, and it'll only make him have a better shot at actually pulling it off.
Yeah.
Hope he does.
Would we agree that, well, at least you, this will be at least his second best ring?
Yeah. Yeah, hands down.
Because
the 2 Miami Heat ones,
they're good, but
like, he went to a super team to go win in South Beach, and that was after he already lost to the Mavs. Like, it would be a good. Those were solid, but I'm not super impressed by those. The Lakers one, I'm not overly impressed by.
Yeah.
The Cavs ring is one of the most impressive feats in NBA history. Arguably the most impressive feat in NBA history, I would probably say.
It's up there. Just that season in general.
It really was.
The Warriors were 73-9 that year.
73 wins and 9 losses is absurd. Steph Curry was the greatest player in the history of the league that season. This is the greatest offensive season we've ever seen out of a single human.
It was, and actually, I think history is repeating itself because Draymond just got suspended for a game.
Do you want to talk about that one? Do you want to talk about the Kings Warriors now?
Yeah, we can transition to that. Yeah. Do you think who you got in this series? Can the Kings finally dethrone the Warriors?
I think the Kings can, and I think they will. I was on the Kings before this series started, and now they're up 2-0, and I am not jumping off the bandwagon. The beam has been lit, and like you just mentioned, history is repeating itself with the Golden State Warriors, as Draymond Green is suspended, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I am loving this for the Sacramento Kings. Loving it for De'Aaron Fox, my boy. Hope Domantas Sabonis is alive, because
I think it said the X-rays were clean.
Yeah, it was like a bruised sternum, I think.
Something.
Questionable for the next game is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
but
he'll play.
He should.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be shocked if he misses one game, but he should play, because if they can steal a game in Golden State, that would be massive. And if there's ever a time to do it, it's without Draymond Green.
Oh, if they go up 3-0, it's over.
Well, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Because, I mean, if you go up 3-0, then Golden State has to win 2 games in Sacramento to win the series, and that's just not going to happen.
No.
I don't even think they're going to win 1 in Sacramento. That's why I'm this confident. So I'm very much feeling good about the Kings' chances. It's the first time the Warriors would ever be knocked out in the conference finals under before the finals with Steve Kerr. That would be...
Isn't that crazy?
That is wild. That is an insane stat. And the Kings are going to be the team to break it.
Well, that makes one of us that has that take. I think the Warriors are still going to win this series. I mean, like, there's no team that's more battle-tested than the Golden State Warriors and everything they've built over the last 8 years. They're down 2-0 going back home. They're going to even the series at 2. And then they're going to win 2 out of the last 3 games. I think, yeah, we've seen, for some reason, they just can't perform on the road. For whatever reason it is. But I think now it's going to be the time where, like, okay, come on, guys. Like, we got to just snap out of this. Like, we've done this before and everything. Steve Kerr, I think, is a great coach. He's going to lead them. And, yeah, I don't know. I've loved what the Kings have done this year, too. I think we were talking the other day. They might have one of the best home crowds in the league right now. How they, like, physically light the beam with the button and everything, and they do the countdown. It's awesome. It's so great for them. But they can light the beam next year.
Oh,
I mean, I'm just not. I don't know. I didn't think they'd be down 2-0, but I said the Warriors would win before the series started, and I'm gonna stick to it.
no.
The Warriors are coming out of this.
No. I strongly disagree. I mean, you mentioned it. The crowd in Sacramento, we were talking about it last night. It is the best in the league.
Phenomenal.
I wouldn't even say one of the best. I would say it is the best in the league right now. And the Warriors, the way it stands right now, will have to win at least one game in Sacramento. They were going to have to win at least one going into the series, but now they only have 2 chances since they blew their first 2 opportunities. They're going to have to win a game in Golden State without Draymond, which is not easy. We know how much he means to that team, even if he's not putting up points. He is their enforcer on defense. He is their main facilitator. He is the heart of that team. Steph Curry may be the driving force, but Draymond Green is the heart of that team.
Yep.
They're going to have to win without him. I don't know if they can, especially with the way De'Aaron is playing. He looks incredible. The real MVP of this series so far has been Malik Monk. He has been incredible off the bench.
He lit the beam.
He did light the beam. He earned his right to light the beam. He's been incredible. So I think that the Kings are going to win Game 3 in Golden State. I am feeling feeling very good about that one. I think they're winning the series, and I think it's good. I said in 7 initially. I think they win in 6.
Yeah, and another sort of side topic off this topic here. I saw a report that said, I think it was like if the Warriors end up losing this series, this will probably be Draymond's last time wearing a Golden State uniform. Which I honestly can maybe see that. Because I think he was quoted saying, he talked about it, and he said something like, well, the writing's on the wall, honestly. And if the Warriors go down 0-3, a lot of people are going to look at Draymond and be like, well, if he was playing, it probably would have been a different story. Right?
Yeah, but at the same side,
I'm not saying they're going to, kick him off the team, per se.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It just might feel like after this series, his time there might be... And we know the relationship LeBron and Draymond have. Could he end up a Laker? I think that's a real sort of possibility.
that would be such a weird fit for that team.
Yeah, it would.
I would not
But I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be shocked, but that would be I don't think that would be a good fit at all if he went to the Lakers. Because you have to play the 3. Because, LeBron's at the 4, AD's at the 5.
I don't know what he would play.
If he wants to start, he's have to play Draymond's not a 3. He's a 4. He's a darn good 4.
Yeah.
I think that if you do, the flip side of that argument of if they go down 3-0, people are going to look at Draymond. But at the same time, they go down 3-0, that shows that they can't win without Draymond. So why would you get rid of the guy that you can't win without? I understand the mindset of Draymond's a nutcase. And the stomp that he put on Sabonis was a Ndamukong Suh kind of play. But I think you have to look past all of that when it comes to Draymond, as you kind of have had to with his entire career. This guy is going to do dumb stuff like that. It's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
But the value that he gives that team on the floor, they're not going to be able to find anywhere else. And it wouldn't work for this team if they were to get rid of Draymond. He's their defensive presence. He is their life and he is their soul. You get rid of that, you're done. I think if Draymond Green leaves, that's the end of this Warriors dynasty.
And I think, is it the end regardless?
No.
Because is this sort of their final window to win another championship?
No.
With the way, you can't even say it with the way the West is, but that they're not as young as they used to be. Steph will be 36 next season.
Does Steph look like he's 36 right now?
You can't tell, but I don't know. I could potentially see a slight retool of that team. And I think if you can trade Draymond for younger pieces that'll fit with that team, I think you do it too.
My thing with Draymond is I feel like the Warriors are the only team that gets a whole lot of value out of Draymond. I don't think you can trade him to a different team and get much of anything. His role with Golden State, he won't find anywhere else. And I'm not so sure you're going to be able to get anything valuable if you do try and trade him. So I'm not really sure the market is even worth looking into if you're the Warriors. I don't know. It's a weird situation. I think they should just I think their window is still very much open. Steph is looking like an MVP level player. He's still playing like a top 5 player in the NBA. On top of that, Clay is not the defender he used to be, but he can still shoot the lights out of the place. And as long as he can do that, he's valuable. And then, Draymond is still an incredible defensive player. He might be an idiot, but he's always been an idiot.
He's worth having around.
Exactly. And plus, Jordan Poole took a step back this year, but Jordan Poole is a good He's a good piece off the bench. He's a great young player off the bench. And trading Draymond isn't going to open up a spot for him. It's not like Draymond's the guy in the lineup the guy that's keeping him out of the lineup. I don't think blowing it up, or at least trading Draymond to try and do whatever, I just don't think it works. I think I wouldn't like it if I was a Warrior fan. I wouldn't think it makes sense.
If they go down on 3, I don't know. I think he might be looked at a little differently by some fans.
He'll be looked at a little different. Don't get me wrong. He'll get looked at differently. But I think this Warriors team is just having a weird season.
Yeah.
And I think you can almost throw it out in the same way that they threw out that one year where they were one of the worst teams in the league. Sometimes it just happens. You're not always going to make it to the finals.
Unless you're LeBron.
And even when you're LeBron, you don't always make it to the finals. He didn't make it the last 2 years. It happens. It's weird. You don't want it to happen, but it does. It's sports. If you could win every single season, people would do it by now. It's just not that easy.
I think this next game for the Warriors, obviously it's a must-win game, but this feels like one of the most important games for them in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Since last year.
Since the finals.
Yeah.
But this is high.
Oh,
this is a must-win game.
It is a must-win game. Because if you lose this, it's over. They're not winning 4 in a row.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are, because I think the Warriors are going to win this series ultimately.
Well, good for you. Happy you still have that delusion in you. Let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about some old heads. Who do we think is more deserving of a ring out of these 3 players? Chris Paul, James Harden, or Russell Westbrook?
See, this is a really, really tough one. I think all 3 of these guys, we would love to see them get a ring.
Don't say we.
I would love, a lot of fans would love to see these guys hoist the trophy. But out of these 3, I got to go Russ. I feel like we'll agree there, but he has been just dragged through it these past few years. And you could go on it 5 teams in 6 years he's been on. And actually good for him. It seems like he's found a home with the Clippers. I know you probably don't love that.
I'm happy for him. I wish it was anywhere else, but I'm happy for him.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see him win a ring, but as a Clipper, that's about the last thing you'd expect.
Yeah.
If you go back a couple, even last season. But, yeah, no one absolutely gives it everything he's got on a nightly basis than Russell Westbrook. And I don't care when people in the media say, he's stat padding, he plays out of control. Maybe he does sometimes. But wouldn't you rather have that than a guy like Ben Simmons? Right? So, I don't know. Seeing him with a ring, that would be great for the league. And I think James Harden, you could make a case for it too, because he's one of the best offensive players we've ever seen. And he's also in a good position to do it. All three of these guys have an opportunity to do it this year. And Chris Paul probably would be the best player to never win a ring if he doesn't win one.
No, he wouldn't.
Who?
John Stockton. John Stockton's better
Chris
than
Paul's one of the best point guards ever played the game.
And John Stockton's even better.
I don't know. I'm taking Chris Paul.
No shot.
I don't know. This guy everywhere Chris Paul goes, he leads them to a good record into the playoffs. That one year when he went to the Thunder, they had a better record than the Rockets, where he came from. That was the Chris Paul for Westbrook trade.
I remember.
That was no one saw that coming because it looked like Chris Paul was going to just sort of ride off into the sunset into retirement. And then after the Thunder, was that when he went to Phoenix? Was it right from there? I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So seeing him win one would be great, but ultimately out of these three, I'm going Westbrook on this one.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Well, no, I agree with you on Russ. I disagree with you on Chris Paul. I think at this point, Chris Paul doesn't deserve a ring. He's had so many chances to do it, and he has thrown it away every single time he has had. He should have at least made a push with the Clippers. He never even got out of the second round. He spent 2 years with the Rockets. He had the Warriors 3-1 with the Rockets. Or no, that was the Thunder. Never mind. I take it back. But no, didn't he have the Warriors?
James Harden got hurt.
Yeah, Harden got hurt, but he had him 3-1.
They weren't up 3-1. I think it was 3-2.
Was it 3-2?
I think it was 3-2.
He had them. He needed to win one game against the Warriors. And
Harden got it. If James Harden doesn't get hurt, both of those guys.
Sure, but Chris Paul wasn't particularly good that series.
I mean, he was their obvious second best player.
Didn't feel like he was playing like an obvious second best player. I think that Chris Paul, at this point in his career, has had so many chances to win a ring that he should have done it by now. So I'm not going to say he deserves to win one. He should have won one with the Suns. Should have done it then. There has been so many times where this guy should have done something, and he hasn't. So I don't care about Chris Paul. I think in terms of a legacy booster, this ring would be more for James Harden than it would for any of these players. Because James Harden is the only real... Russ right now, since with Paul George hurt, he is the clear number 2. James Harden has been the number 2 for the Sixers all season. This would be huge for him if he can win a ring here. With that being said, I think he's also in the kind of the Chris Paul boat where he's had his chances to win and he hasn't. So I'm not saying he deserves one. Russell Westbrook is the only person who, outside of the 1 year with the Thunder where they were up 3-1 on the 73-1 Warriors, where they fell apart, he didn't fall apart. Russ didn't fall apart that series. KD fell apart that series. But Russ you said it, he's gone through everything in his career. Not just the last few years, not just the 6 teams in 5 seasons. He had to deal with James Harden leaving as a young guy when he was looking like a stud for the Thunder. Then he has to deal with, now it's him and Kevin Durant. They look like they have an actual shot at winning something. And then Kevin Durant leaves. And then all of a sudden Russ just gets bounced around from team to team and gets sent to LA where I honestly feel bad for Russ there. Looking back at it, I feel bad for the guy. That was the worst fit it could have possibly been for a player.
Got sent to the bench.
He's not a bench player.
No.
And he did this, and he continuously, like you said, goes out and plays harder on the floor than any other person you will ever find. Sure, he's had his chances, but a lot of the time, Russ isn't the one letting people down. It's his teammates letting people down. I love seeing Russ have success. Like I said, I wish it was anywhere else. I don't like seeing him win with the Clippers, but he deserves it more than anybody. Unfortunately, I think he has the worst chance out of all of them to win a ring, but he deserves it. And I'd be so happy to see him get one.
Yeah. I think, when you look at these three right now, probably Chris Paul has the best shot.
I'd say Paul has the best. That team should be able to win it all.
They'd have to knock out Westbrook at that.
Sure.
And that series is not at 1-1.
And Russ is the reason it's not at 1-1.
Yeah.
Well, the reason it's not 2-0 right now for the Suns.
Yeah. Westbrook had a great game last night again.
Yeah, he did.
This time he actually could shoot the ball.
He could.
I think he had 28 he ended up with. Yeah. I don't know. I'm agreeing it's Westbrook, but I think it's closer. than you would say probably, because you could all these guys. If Giannis hadn't won, it'd be Giannis.
Well, obviously.
Because that Bucks championship when they beat Chris Paul, that was like one of the most deserving rings I've ever seen from a guy.
Yep.
And can we remember that one defensive play he had where he like went and guarded the shot and then turned around and stuffed the alley-oop? That was one of the best plays I've ever seen. So Giannis would definitely be on this list too, and he could get another one this year. Actually, he could.
Would not be surprising. I think he's the favorite if he is healthy to win.
But man, I would love seeing Westbrook with a ring.
It would be so good for him.
Yeah,
I would be so happy for the kid.
And another thing, this is another obvious one, but how do you average a triple-double in 4 seasons?
That's so wild.
4 seasons.
That's wild.
When Oscar Robertson did it for 1 season, it was unheard of. And I remember when Russ, during that first year.
The first year was the most insane thing we'd ever seen.
It was like, oh, is he really going to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then he did it 3 more times.
Yeah.
And he took a gap year because when he went to the Rockets, he didn't do it, and we were kind of like, okay, it's over. Then he did it with the Wizards. The Wizards, I don't know. Russ is, I don't care what people say about him. He's one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
Top 75 player of all time.
100%. If you don't have him top 75, you're out of your gosh darn mind.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to our final basketball topic. Who do we think, of all of the players in this series, is under the most pressure in this Knicks and Cavaliers series?
I think it's Donovan Mitchell. I think so. If the Cavs lose this series, this will absolutely be a disappointment for them. And I think Donovan Mitchell is clearly the best player in this series. He came from the Jazz to the Cavaliers as clearly he's clearly the best player on this team. They won 51 games to the 4th seed. And I just think if they get bounced in the first round, we might start to look at Donovan Mitchell a little bit differently and sort of maybe label him as one of those guys of can we really win with this guy? Is he kind of like how people looked at Russ in his early years? Remember he left because of Westbrook. One of those situations. So, I don't know. I think maybe, I'm not saying he's got to win the finals and get to the finals, but you got to come out of the first round if you're Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs. So that's who I'm going with.
I think that Donovan Mitchell should come out of the first round. The Cavs are the better team here. But the reason that I'm going to disagree with you, I think Julius Randle's under more pressure. Because in his entire time in New York, he has been getting slandered by the New York media, left and right. Everybody, since the second he has stepped foot on the floor, has said that he is not a good enough player to win around. And everybody has absolutely lampooned him. And yet this year, they've been great. They're the 5 seed in the East. Julius Randle has put up an incredible season. And he's been doing all of this with the New York media at his throat. I would be amazed if the Knicks can come out in this series, but the New York media expects them to come out in this series. He is under more pressure than Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell is on a better team. The Cavs, yeah, they're better. They should win. But Donovan Mitchell has help. Julius Randle has Jalen Brunson. He's
had a good year.
He has had a great year. They've both been great, but Julius Randle is looked at as the number 1 guy on this team. People have been saying he's not good enough to be the number 1 guy on a playoff team ever since he stepped foot, really in the league, basically. Because even in New Orleans, they were not liking him there. So, Julius Randle, I think, absolutely has more. He was incredible game 1. Offensive rebound to pretty much win them the game was huge. He was great in game. He was not great in game 2, but he was solid. Wasn't the reason they lost. It's also not the reason they won, is because they didn't win. and he wasn't as good in the second game as he was in the first. But I think Donovan Mitchell, if you look at the Cavs coming into the year, they weren't expected to be as great as they ended up being. I know we were both kind of surprised when we saw how great to a start of the season they had. And once the season started, you could see the Cavs as like, okay, this team is really good. They should be very good. But going into the year, we didn't expect that out of them. And I think since Donovan Mitchell has so much help to try and take the load off of him, it's not solely going to fall on his shoulders, because obviously he's been their best player this season. He is their best player. But there's so many pieces around him that if they do end up losing, it's not going to be Donovan Mitchell's fault that they lose. It's going to be a team effort. And while on the other side, if the Knicks lose, they will only blame Julius Randle.
Oh, they will. That media is rough.
Yeah.
And the fans and everything.
Rough.
Yeah, and this series, like, it's 1-1 right now. So technically, it's really, even if the Knicks won, I don't know if I would even be as surprised, because we talked about it. This Knicks team is just scrappy.
Yep.
They'll just compete, and they're just like pesky, led by Julius Randle. But even so, yeah, I agree. The Cavs they're just better. And going back to the Knicks, do we remember when they faced the Hawks in the playoffs? Some of them videos of the fans saying things about Trae Young. So that's just the type of atmosphere that he's in. And if the Knicks win a playoff series, they might that city will earthquake.
Oh, absolutely.
And as it should.
Yeah.
They haven't.
They've been terrible forever.
Stephen A. Smith will have a field day. He really, really will, and he'll deserve it. And then on the flip side, if the Cavs beat them, because remember it was the Knicks could have drafted Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I forget who they even took before him, but I believe Donovan Mitchell was on the board.
Was that the Kristaps year?
No, that was a little too early.
Before.
2015 they drafted
Porzingis.
Kristaps. Donovan Mitchell went 2017.
Is he 17? Man, that was
Yeah.
a while.
RJ Barrett maybe.
Could have been Star J.
Yeah. They messed up there, obviously.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Because he could have already been there.
Yeah. I
But
don't think it was Star J. Because RJ was the same year as Zion, and I don't think Zion got drafted in 17.
no. 2017 it was Lonzo, Jason Tatum. I
Who
can't
did
remember who
Why can't we remember
I
who
don't
they
know.
drafted? Man.
was it Kevin Knox?
No, was it the Frenchman? Frank, last name I can't say.
Kaminsky? No.
It was the Nidikina or something.
Yeah.
I think it was that year.
It might have been Kevin Knox.
It wasn't. No, because Kevin Knox was a late pick. Kevin Knox was a later one. It was. I got the head nod from Jeff, the producer. I can't say his last name.
It was Frank with the 8th overall pick.
Yeah.
How'd that
That's
one?
an all-time bust right
How'd
there.
that one work?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, imagine if they got Donovan Mitchell instead. Imagine.
This team would be in the playoffs every year
Yeah.
with the Eastern Conference. That's another thing, man. I remember when LeBron was in the East and everybody used to say like, "Oh, how soft the East was,"
Yeah.
and now it seems like it's flipped.
It really does. Now LeBron's in the West, and the West is soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the problem.
He is. Just retire already.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to move on to the final
Yeah.
segment we
I
have
think
of the
yeah.
day? We're going to continue the starting five. This week, we'll be drafting our current NBA players only, but we will draft our 5 best clutch players in the NBA. I think since I picked before you last week, I'll let you pick
I was
first.
gonna go rock paper scissors.
Or do we want to do that
yeah,
again?
We'll do
All
that.
right.
Just one game, right?
Just one game,
All right.
game. We're going on shoot.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I'm the greatest
That's
to ever
fine.
do it.
That's fine.
That's the second time in a row now.
It is. I got to stop going scissors.
You should. You really should. Gonna be honest, I was not expecting to have the first pick here. I was not mentally prepared.
Oh.
And since this, even if this is technically, no, I can't not do it. I have to take LeBron James. He's got the most game-winning shots of all time. LeBron James is, you could say, the greatest clutch player in the history of the NBA. As much as I don't want to take LeBron and want to take my boy, gotta take the GOAT.
All right, that's completely fine. With my first pick, give me Dame.
That's
not even close.
That was the other guy.
Time and time again, this guy just delivers.
Yeah.
And who's got a colder, sell it in the Dame time thing? And when he sent the Thunder home, that was so cold.
Oh, it was.
So, yeah, give me Dame. That's easy first pick.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm going to be honest. Selling already. Love to see it. Now, I will take my actual boy, the reigning clutch player of the year. Give me De'Aaron Fox.
That's a good pick. You know, he literally is the clutch player of the year. Can't be mad about that one. My second pick, this is another easy one. Give me Jimmy Butler. This guy is just comes up when you need him the most. When they lost the 2020 finals, he had that whole Miami Heat team on his back. And even this year, he's just performing when they need him to. So give me Jimmy Butler all day.
I'm going to have to start pulling my weight here as I am getting absolutely slaughtered. Give me Kyrie. That one, he hit one of the greatest shots in the history of the NBA. Give me Kyrie.
With my third pick, I'm going to have to go here and take someone we talked about earlier. Give me KD. I
was taking him next.
Yeah. He's might not get the recognition of being clutch as he should sometimes, but
Widest clutch player in the league.
Who?
KD.
Oh,
Wyatt.
yeah. Remember the finals against the Heat? Torched the Cavs.
Yep.
So, yeah, give me KD.
Yeah, he's the one who hit the dagger 3 right in LeBron's face, too.
Right in his grill.
Yeah. No, I was going to take KD next. That's a good one. I will take the man who ripped the heart and soul out of Philadelphia. Give me Kawhi Leonard.
That's a good one. I had him queued. My next one, also someone we talked about earlier. I'm going to take Giannis. As a guy who just leaves it out on the floor, much like Russ, and we talked about the finals that they won. He'll just compete. He'll just get it done. So give me Giannis.
I'm going. It's my last pick now. I can go two ways with this. I can take an actual pick, but I'm not going to because I have already lost this draft. Give me the GOAT. Himself. Give me Austin Reeves.
That's not a bad one. So I got two options here, and I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna lean towards DeMar DeRozan. He was second in clutch points this year.
Yep.
And do we recall last season when he had 2 buzzer beaters in a row?
Yeah. He was. If I wanted to take a real pick, I would have just taken DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah. And someone else I had behind DeRozan, I had Luka.
So did I. Yep. Those were the last 2 guys I had on my board.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like my team.
Yeah, your team won. You had the better team by a good margin. So my 5, I had LeBron James, De'Aaron Fox, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, and Austin Reeves.
It's a darn good team.
Yeah.
You got the duo of LeBron and Kyrie back.
Oh, it's back. We got the wing defender in Kawhi, the greatest defender in the league.
I had LeBron also because he may not shoot the last shot, but he'll drive and find someone to make it, and they'll make it.
Yep.
So that's good to have. So, all right, my team, I got Dame, Jimmy Butler, KD, Giannis, and DeMar DeRozan. Out of any of those guys, I think I would feel the most comfortable with the ball in Dame's hands.
Yeah.
Dame or KD?
Dame. I would never feel more confident than. I sold not taking Dame first overall. Bad decision. Terrible life decision. No one I would be more confident in with the ball in their hands than Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
No one.
Who's shooting? I would for your team.
For my team, Kyrie.
Yeah.
I think Kyrie's the guy that I want taking the last shot. LeBron can create it, but Kyrie's taking it.
Yeah. And even LeBron's got his fair share of buzzer beaters.
I'm fairly confident LeBron has the most game-winning shots in the history of the NBA.
I think he might. And just so I can recall, remember the 2018 playoff run, he had 2 when he, against the Pacers, that turnaround 3, and then against the Raptors, that running side layup off the glass. Not the prettiest thing, but it went in. He had the one against the Timberwolves during the 2018 regular season. If you want to count the game-winning driving layup against the Pacers.
So, looking at it right now, LeBron James all-time is second to Michael Jordan in game winners with 8. Jordan had 9. However, LeBron James has by far the most playoff game winners with 6. Jordan only had 3.
Oh, case closed.
Case absolutely slammed shut.
Yeah, he's got the capability to make these. It's just a lot of the times
he takes the smarter play.
Yeah.
And the smarter play is most often not his own shot because he gets double teamed at the end of every single game if he has the ball in his hand. And when you're getting double teamed, that means someone's open. And LeBron has the 360 vision, so he can find them.
He does. Except when, I think last year, remember against the Warriors in the play-in, when he hit the 3, he said, I couldn't even see.
Found Schroeder, though.
Oh, this time he did,
This time he found Schroeder.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a dog.
He is a dog. I wouldn't have drafted Schroeder.
He can be an honorable 6-man to my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last one. Another one I thought of was Devin Booker. He's got to be up there too. I remember the game winner he hit against the Clippers in the bubble. That turnaround 3, and right on Paul George. That was cold.
One guy I was gonna have is a sort of honorable mention. Who the only reason I didn't have him was just because he hasn't been in the round long enough. Is Jalen Brunson. He was monstrous for that Mavs playoff run last year, and in 2 games he's been great for the Knicks. He's maybe not the game winner guy, but in the biggest games he will always perform. And he was someone who was I can't put him above anybody that was taken above him, or even Luka, who didn't get drafted, but he's up there.
Yeah. I like my team.
I'm going to be honest, I like your team too.
Yeah.
Your team would absolutely wash mine. But it's okay, because I have Austin Reeves and you don't, so
yeah.
I'm the real winner here.
Yeah, and one last point. Dame is someone we didn't mention when we were talking about who deserves a ring. I think we were trying to keep it to...
we were keeping the playoffs, but if we're going to the entire league, I think Dame, I would put him over
Probably.
Russ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Dame.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
It will never happen.
It probably won't.
Because he's not going to leave Portland unless they trade him.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Portland's not winning anything anytime soon.
No, especially, I'm surprised he even stayed after they let go with CJ.
Yeah.
Because that sort of felt like, okay, we're kind of retooling.
He's just got the loyalty gene. And sometimes it can
Gets
bite
in
you
your way.
in the butt.
Yeah.
And right now it's biting Dame in the butt.
It is.
Yeah.
But he's still having a great career.
Oh, yeah. He's another top 75 of all time. I'd say he has to be.
He's got to be, yeah.
He's so good. He is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love Damian Lillard, man. He's one of the best long 3 shooters ever.
Yeah.
It's either him or Steph. I'd say he's one. If Steph is 1, he's 2.
Yeah, when you talk about the best shooters of all time, I think he's got to be mentioned.
Yeah, he's
with
top 5.
Steph, Clay, Ray Allen.
Yep, Larry Bird.
Probably Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
And you don't go too much further without saying Dame.
Yeah. He's a legend, man.
He
We
is.
love Dame. Hopefully he can pull something out soon. Maybe he can find a way to win. Who knows? Won't happen, but maybe someday. Anyways, I think that does it for us here this morning. Thank you all for joining us here on Utica TV. Thank you for joining us on the Victory Lap. As always, I'm James Boss, Shane Tenney. Like and subscribe. We'll be back next week.